The Ghana Police Service has announced a 20,000 reward for anyone who will offer information leading to the arrest of the killers of the Member of Parliament for Infantsman, Kwame Alfred. The IGP has also sent a specialized investigators team from CID headquarters to support the Central Region's crime scene team to solve the alleged robbery incident and murder of the Member of Parliament. The MP was shot on the Abeazi Dominase Mankesim Road on his return from a campaign trip. Now, President Akufo-Addo has, in a letter to Parliament, assured the police will do everything possible to bring to book those who killed Member of Parliament Kwame Alfred. Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Kwame, read the letter of condolence to MPs. Now, the leadership of Parliament has, however, directed MPs to restrict their movement at night following the killing of their colleague MP. The NPP MP for Ayensuano and Chairman of Parliament's Roads and Transport Committee, Samuel Ayepe, who disclosed this to JoyNews, says the killing has, quote, put fear in MPs. He says the decision of the shooter to kill Mr. Alfred after he identified himself as an MP shows they are all at risk as members of Parliament. Some of Kwame Alfred's colleague MPs have been speaking to JoyNews.
This is something that has actually hit all of us right in the face, and it's very sad. It actually put fear in all of us because we all campaign at night. We move in and out of our house at night. Listening to the eyewitness report, he was shot when he identified himself as a member of Parliament.
But one of the accounts say that after he made the point that he's an MP, there was a claim that they are the people who are making the country a difficult place. And subsequently,
what I heard is not about making the country difficult. He said, you are the people who are making things difficult for us. So the understanding I am getting is that, the current government has been critical on armed robbers, and not even current governments normally are critical on armed robbers. So when an armed robber see a government official or a member of Parliament, definitely the armed robber would be very strong on him. So he got shot when he identified himself. But the point is that we as members of Parliament also need security. It is important. We pass the laws that are putting restrictions on movement and the work of criminals. So we are always the target of the criminals. So why are you giving the judge this because he passed the judgment? Why are you giving the minister, the deputy minister, the security to protect themselves? But those of us who sit and pass the laws before the laws are sent to the judicial service for implementation, I'd rather not being protected.
Many thanks. The Honorable Samuel Ayepe there. The Honorable Bernard Ahiafo is the MP for Akachi South, the NDC MP for that area. You think this is a reflection of a general deterioration of security in the country that we're seeing unfold?
Well, let me use the opportunity to express my deepest condolences to the family of Kwame Alfred. The last time we did one-on-one was on GTV, when he was on the MPP side and NDC side. It's a sad news for Parliament of Ghana. It's a sad news for the whole country. Today is a black day. In fact, the level of insecurity in Ghana now cannot be again said. We live in a country where people can have the courage to walk into a court and attack a sitting judge and yet go scot-free. We live in a country where a sitting MP, J.B. Dankwaidu, was murdered in a cold blood. We live in a country where a professor was killed. We live in a country where MP was announced to have been killed in a very tragic circumstances. Is it because he announced himself, I'm the MP for the area? In fact, danger begets man, and it is a cry of distress that will have to summon for relief. If we look at the Article 71 office holders, apart from the MPs, all Article 71 office holders, they have security. So what is it that a security cannot be provided for just 275 members of Parliament?
So that's the Honorable Bernard Ahiafo there. Let me speak to the Honorable Kwame Abuja. He's had an experience of his vehicle being shot at on the road, even as he headed out of his constituency. At least by the grace of God, as some would say, you survived that experience. But how is this development about the Honorable Kwame Alfred coming to you? And for you, What does that say about the need for protection for MPs as your colleagues are advocating?
Well, my brother, thank you very much. We also use the opportunity to express my condolences to ECHO and the family, the Parliament, the MPP, and the country as a whole. It's a very fine gentleman who we lost this morning. You are right. Maybe I shouldn't be here, actually, if I wasn't that lucky. While I was returning from my constituency somewhere in 2017 at dawn, after Sikuma, I just heard a loud noise in the car. When I turned around, I saw a hole in the glass. Out of the panic, I rather didn't stop. I kept driving until I got to Tema. When I stopped, the police said, "What happened?" When I narrated it, they said, "You were lucky. You would have had a terrible situation if you stopped to check what it was." And I've gone through a series of briefings and how to protect myself since then. So some people say that
should attention be paid to that in terms of security education for members of parliament so you know how to react in some of these situations?
I think so. People close to me always say that I look paranoid when it comes to things like that. I wouldn't use the same route to my house. I don't like to see the same vehicle following me for a certain period of time and all those things. And I think this is a common thing that we should all do. But you see, I am not sure whether this is an armed robbery thing or not, whether it's contract killing, whether it's premeditated or something, because if you stop a vehicle and one of the passengers said, "We said, who are you?" and he identifies himself as who he is, I think he's being honest. What if he said he's a classroom teacher? They say, "Well, which school?" And he begins to lie rather, and he's shot. Wouldn't the public be saying that he should have said he's an MP?
Let me round up with the Honorable Ras Mubarak, the NDC MP for Kumbungu. You have always been against the idea of security, protection, and policemen for members of parliament specifically. Hearing the news about the death of Ekohefo this morning, does that change the position that you hold?
Let me echo the sentiments of my colleagues and express my profound condolences to the family of our colleague and the MPP family and Parliament as a whole. It's a Black Friday for Ghana's Parliament and the nation. What that means also is that we are beginning to see a growing sense of insecurity in the country. Recently, you saw the convoy of Alex Mould and some NDC officials that was attacked in the Ashanti region. You know, we have seen again the tragic murder, needless murder of our colleague, you know, who was going about his job. I have always held a view against, you know, having 275 police officers, taking police officers off the streets and having them protect members of parliament. But what has happened has given me a change of mind, you know, to the extent that this is not only a loss to his immediate family, it is not only a loss to the MPP family, it is a loss to the nation. And what that does is that it exposes the weaknesses in our security system as a country. So somebody watching from the sub-region could say, if members of parliament can be taken out this easily, you know, they might as well come and attempt to kidnap MPs or ministers and the rest of it. So it's a wake-up call on all of us.
So those are some members of parliament speaking to our parliamentary affairs correspondent, Joseph Opoku Gakpo. Growing sense of insecurity, they call it. Let's bring in a security analyst, Adib Sani, who is joining me right now on this. Hello, Adib. It's good to have you.
Thank you, Gifty.
Right. Adib, what do you make of the calls by the members of parliament for tighter security and restriction of movement for some of the members? So they're actually calling for tighter security for themselves, you know, by the police, to be provided by the police. And there's also a part of the leadership of parliament that's warning them to restrict their movement.
Well, first of all, let me correct an impression. The growing sense of insecurity is not starting with the murder of the Mfansimane MP. Indeed, it is something we have been grappling with for some time now. According to police statistics, according to statistics from the Bureau of Public Safety, and even the U.S. Department of State, since 2017, there's growing insecurity in the country. Crime is on the increase. There are well over 1.2 million illegal guns in the system. On an annual basis, over 500 Ghanaians are murdered. And local authorities, as has been captured in the travel advisory published by the U.S. Department of State for its citizens coming to Ghana, they say lack the capacity to counter the threats. Okay, so this is no news. And for some of us, it is not coming as a surprise because for years on end, and it cuts across the political divide, we have failed to deal with the fundamental issues of security in the country. And for us to now simplistically say that the solution to all that is happening is for MPs to be given armed guards, I think it will be tantamount to dealing with the issue unscientifically, unsustainably, and localizing it rather than looking at it from the broader picture. Now, how about the average Joe persons like you and I?
That's an argument that has been made. But if you get to the parliamentarians and the other people who are calling for extra security for themselves, that's those who in parliament, the argument they make is that it's looking more as if people do not have fear. People do not have regard for persons, and they're putting themselves in the Article 71, category, and saying that there are other people who are within this category who enjoy that security. Why can't you give us as MPs the same?
Well, the thing is, Gifty, because of the nature of every job, I mean, just as MPs, you are a reporter, I mean, you are a journalist, and there are sometimes you engage in investigative reportage, which would not go down well with some people, so that could make you a potential target. I'm a security analyst. I talk about security every day. I make the work of the criminals very difficult, so I'm a potential target. Whether you are an investment banker with someone investing something with you and not going the way he expected, you could also be a potential target. So almost everybody is a potential target. MPs are potential targets, but I've always maintained that dealing with it at the localized level, giving MPs security, despite the fact that yes, they claim those within that article have security, is not going to help the situation. We have a major issue considering it from the wider context. How do we manage the security of the state in a much more effective and efficient manner? How do we go beyond just thinking that the solution to the myriad of security challenges we're facing in the country all boils down to donation of pickups and other vehicles to the police, when we have consistently failed to invest in situational crime prevention, when we have consistently failed in training our law enforcement officers in line with best international practices to counter these threats, because it is quite common, it is common knowledge that a lot of these criminals are always a step ahead of law enforcement. How do we capacitate them? How do we give them the equipment? How do we create an environment where it will not be profitable to commit crime rather than just giving them security? I do understand, I mean, the awkward situation they have gotten themselves to, but every single Ghanaian has a security concern. So I think this is a wake-up call for us. This is the golden opportunity for us to explore the myriad of ways, of strategies, the multi-dimensional strategy we can adopt in dealing with the state of insecurity in the country, rather than simplistically providing security to MPs. Because trust me, these guys have become more audacious. They are able to go after police personnel in broad daylight, in the streets. You understand? So if they want to come after you, they come after you whether you have a police escort or not. Recently, remember, they attacked a bullion van. The bullion van is fortified, yet they were able to attack it. So this is a wider issue that we need to approach from a wider scientific perspective, rather than just thinking that providing police officers to MPs will solve the issue.
So as far as you're concerned, providing escort or police escort to any parliamentarian will not solve the problem. Just yesterday, we reported news of an NDC campaign team that was attacked by gunmen. We know there are checkpoints on our roads, and these checkpoints are essentially supposed to make sure that some of these people don't get through. What are we doing wrong, and how, from your perspective, do we deal with a situation like this?
Well, first of all, Gifty, in criminology, we have something called situational crime prevention. It's based on a theory called rational choice theory, which is quite straightforward. Criminals are humans. They think. Before they perpetrate a crime, they are able to juxtapose the reward factors against the risk factors. When they realize that the risk factors far outweighs the reward factors, they are disincentivized from even committing the crime in the first place. The risk factors could include the response rates, the crime and investigation efficiency. But when they realize that the reward factors outweigh the risk factors, that is, currently there's a 90% likelihood that if you commit a crime, you will not be caught. Okay, it makes them, it encourages them, it motivates them to commit the crime. So how do we deal with this situation? By modernizing crime fighting techniques. This is no rocket science. This is straightforward. This is logical. We have a number of biometric databases: passport office, national health insurance, national identification, SNIT. Why don't we integrate these systems, make it accessible to law enforcement, so at least every first respondent police officer is trained on how to protect the integrity of crime scene, collect fingerprints, run it against the system, and it can help to a very large extent in uncovering many of the murder mysteries we are bedeviled with. When you go to other jurisdictions, they use DNA technology to solve crimes that were perpetrated in the 1970s, in the 1980s, when DNA didn't exist. One classical case is the Golden State Killer, who raped and killed a lot of women between 1970 and 1985. He was recently caught using what we call in DNA technology genealogy. His grandson was caught, his DNA taken, and they were able to make a follow-up to his grandfather, who is apparently the Golden State Killer, and he's called Michael D'Angelo, a former cop who is now in his 90s. So we need to set our priorities right. We need to go beyond the provision of helicopters and vehicles. There are fundamental issues.
And one of the arguments that I've personally made is for us to invest more in surveillance system, which is in line with the point that you make, which will then require that we go back to our parliamentarians, because they will have to approve. If we have to invest in these systems, they will have to approve these monies anyway.
Yes, a lot of work has been done. I don't know if you've taken notes. Everywhere you go in Accra, there are surveillance systems. Unfortunately, we have an incompetent national security minister who doesn't know that the way forward is to engage various stakeholders, so we educate the public on the importance, so they protect it as national assets. But there's a lot more work we can do. But Gifted, this raises the issue of personal security. You see, we cannot have police officers everywhere all the time. At the very personal level, we need to exercise some level of discretion so far as our security is concerned. I provide security systems, and I'm friends to many of these MPs I've given security systems to in their homes. I've provided them with CCTV, tracking devices, etc. But a whole lot of them think there's no need because they are so remote, they are so detached. There's no way anyone would cause them harm because they are good. But it can come to anyone. So it is important going forward. We need to collaborate with law enforcement. Go out there, and this is a unique opportunity for me to appeal to the multimedia group. Let us collaborate. Let us go out there, reach out to the people, create awareness for them to know that it is a risk. Leaving the house and leaving your key under the doormat or in the flower pot or under the flower pot. It is risky to give out very private information on social media, because what these criminals do is they are able to use it to carve or to create what we call a profile of you, which makes you a potential target, because they know at 2 p.m. this is where you would be. At 3 p.m. this is where you would be. They know your children, their names, the schools they attend, what time you pick them, you drop them at school, what time you pick them up from school. We need to educate the people. When you close home, when you close from work very late, when you're going home, especially for journalists, because you would have to wait for the late news to go before you go home. Do you use the same route, Gifty? You have to vary your routes. When you drive, be conscious of your security environment. When you get home, make sure the doors are locked. If you wake up at 2 a.m. to pee, ensure, double check that the doors are locked. And invest in security is extremely key.
It is indeed. Adib, thank you so much for your time, and we'll certainly be collaborating more on educating people on security and how to be more security conscious, especially as we also go into an election year. Adib Sani is with the Jati K Hab there, as you can see in his background, he joined us. He's a security analyst, helping us understand the situation, the issues that have been raised as well. Earlier, by the way, Richard Kujonyako, our Central Regional correspondent, was in the family house of the deceased member of parliament. He spoke to some of the relatives.
We also know that sometimes there are a whole lot of armed robbery, incidents on that very stretch. Interestingly, that stretch used to be very, very, very bad. The road is very, very bad. And the same person who has been shot today is the one who is actually doing the work. collaborating with Nana Akufo-Addo and doing this very work. So it's so very pathetic. So what we know is that because of such incidents which has been happening, what's really normally happening in the middle of the night is that around 7 p.m., 8 p.m., you don't normally see a whole lot of cars coming from that very stretch. So it was very strange that when the MP was coming from the Abazi-Dobnazi area, they met that traffic over there where he was shot.
Okay, so that is Eric giving us an account of what really transpired on this particular stretch of the road. There are so many people that are seated. In fact, they've been shedding tears the whole of this morning when the incident broke, and it's been so much of a difficulty for them to handle. So tell us, how do you take all of this?
To be honest and sincere, we are very sad this morning because we are not expecting something of this sort this morning. And from what we are all suggesting and assuming, it's something that they've planned and plotted about.
Why do you think so?
Because how come they went there and mentioned the name of the MP? Who is the MP? Because they are a group of people. So if they are armed robbers, they would have attacked all of them. They will not mention or point to a particular person. So in this way, they pointed that we are looking for the MP. And the moment the MP showed up, they shot him. So it means it's a plan thing. Whether within the party or outside the party, it's a plan thing. And me, myself, if it's outside the party, it's someone from the party, within the party, who took the information to them. Because how will the person know that the MP is taking this route or the MP is going to this very direction? So if truly, even the person who killed the MP is not within the party, someone within the party gave the person information. And it's very sad. We the Francis, we must learn a lesson out of this. How come we brought our own person for presidency? He didn't cover 4 years. The same thing our own from Mankesim here. He also couldn't cover the 4 years. So how come? We are not going to vote. So the person who killed our MP, Honorable Ekokwansa, is out. If the person is out, we will vote.
So what really is going to happen? What are you suggesting should happen within this?
Okay, right now we are waiting for our constituency executives to come to tell us something that will calm us down, because we are all sad this morning. This morning we went to the hospital around 3 o'clock. From there we came to his house. We are not doing anything till we hear something good from our constituency executives. Let them come and voice out to us what they are taking, the necessary steps they are taking before we will calm down. Else, no one, no media houses will come here and tell us that today is the closing date for submission of forms. So we don't have anyone. And even aside that, if the wife of Honorable Ekokwansa says that I'm ready to contest, we will give our vote to her. Apart from her, no any other person. Apart from her, no any other person. Because this man has lost a lot. He's the hope of the family. And he's the only child of the mom. So if we have lost him, then someone closer to him should come and replace him. So that at least if we have lost him, that person can come and take over and look after Ekokwansa's children. Okay. And the mother of Ekokwansa, I'm Richard Amwako from Ankesimi, a native. Me, I started campaign with Ekokwansa, so I know him very well. He's a very humble person.
So tell me, you have got some close association with him. If I ask you to give me a testimony of his life, who he was, what would you say?
Oh, I can say that when I got closer to Ekokwansa, in the beginning, I wasn't knowing he has even worked with the security force before. When I got closer to him, then I got to know that he has worked with, and the wife is currently in the security force. The wife is currently in the security force, and his door is open. His door is open to everyone. When you come here, like when you go to the other MP's house, the way you will be restricted to even enter. You came here, you just saw what is happening. We can come here anytime.
Well, it's important to note that people have given us different eyewitness reports, but the police is dealing or working with robbery and alleged robbery and murder. Now, away from that, President Akufo-Addo for the next 2 days will be in the Upper West region on an official visit. While in the region, he is expected to interact with chiefs, opinion leaders, and inspect some ongoing infrastructural projects, as well as cut salt for works to begin on the 275-meter-long bridge across the Black Volta at Digbe. JoyNews' Upper West correspondent Rafik Salam is traveling with the president. Rafik joins me on Zoom. Hello, Rafik.
Hello, Gipti.
Rafik, we know that the president went to the Yerina Palace. What has he been saying about maintaining peace in the country?
The president visited the Yerina Palace, and then he went there on twofold, talking about the coronation of the Yerina 7 months ago. He's not been able to visit him to congratulate him. And the second had to deal with the death of somebody he called a great friend, Alhaji Yakubu Seru, alias Foundation. And it was a request made by the spokesperson from the Yerina, who has to deal with this year's election, and they are calling for all political actors to exhibit or conduct their campaign with a lot of decorum and then respect. And so the president, in his response, stated that he's not going to do anything untoward to mar the beauty of the democracy that Ghana is having. He said that Ghana is a beacon of hope for the rest of Africa, and Ghana has gone through about 7 elections, and he's not going to be the one who will lead to make this country, bring this country into chaos. And so exactly this is what the president has been telling the Yerina and his subjects.
And he's still there. You've indicated that he will be commissioning or cutting the salt for 275-meter bridge across the Black Volta. Let's quickly wrap this up with how important this particular project is to the people.
The president, before I talk about the Digbe Bridge, the president currently is at Kwerihi, where he's expected to cut salt for work to begin on a recycling composite plant that will be constructed by Zoom Lion Ghana Limited. And then from there, he will visit some ongoing projects. But tomorrow, the president will cut this salt on the 275-meter bridge. You know, Ghana and Burkina Faso shares a lot of borders, and if you move from around Ambele up to about Sola, there are about 183 communities line along that line. And so the construction of this bridge, which is 275 meters bridge, will in a long way increase commercial activities between the two countries. Talking about Ghana and then Burkina Faso. You remember the people of Lora, and also they have some of their relatives at the other side of the Black Volta. And so they think that if it is constructed, it's not going to ease their challenges, their travel challenges, but also in a way going to increase commercial activities in the Lora municipality.
Rafik, great to have you on that one there. We'll cross over to you once again on the Pulse at 3 p.m. for more details on the president's activities there. Rafik Salam is our correspondent for the Upper West region. Before we go, let's take you across the country for a look at some MP aspirants who have filed to contest in the December 7 parliamentary elections. We'll start from the Ablekuma West constituency, where current MP Ursula Owusu-Akufo is confident the constituents will vote her again because of what she describes as her good works.
For more scholarships, for more infrastructure here, for more jobs and skills and training, for more job opportunities, for more of everything that is on the hearts of these people. Because they know me, they've trusted me, they've tried me, and I've proven myself over the years. And so I'm confident that once again, the good people of Ablekuma West will return me to Parliament as their MP, because they know that we seek power to serve, not to lord it over them.
That's Ursula Owusu-Akufo there, also the Communications Minister. Was still in the Greater Accra region, Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Samuel Nate George has asked President Akufo-Addo to start preparing his handing over notes ahead of the December 7th polls. According to Mr. George, Ghanaians are yearning for the return of former President John Mahama and the NDC. He was speaking to party supporters after filing his nomination at the EC's district office. Sam George is sure he will deliver 50,000 votes for the party's flag bearer. The Energy Minister, John Peter Amewu, is confident of making history by winning the Hohoe parliamentary seat in the Volta region on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party. According to him, electorates in the constituency are pleased with his role in harnessing development to the area and the good works, according to him, of the Akufo-Addo-led administration. Hence, he believes they would reward the NPP in the December polls. Mr. Amewu mentioned these when he addressed the media after successfully filing his nomination forms to contest the Hohoe parliamentary seat.
There was traffic congestion when the Energy Minister took to the streets to submit his nomination form to contest the Hohoe parliamentary seat. Residents from across the constituency, clad in NPP colors, led Mr. Amewu's convoy from his residence to the Hohoe Municipal Office of the Electoral Commission. Addressing the crowd, Mr. Amewu appealed to the constituents to give him the opportunity to transform Hohoe, which has been represented in Parliament by the National Democratic Congress since 1992.
Energy Minister John Peter Amewu there for the Volta region. Let's move to the OT region now. In the Akan constituency, both NPP and NDC candidates have submitted their nominations to the Electoral Commission. Rashid Bawa, who is Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria, believes he will win based on the various policies that he says the NPP has implemented, especially for cocoa farmers.
Believe that the battle is still the Lord's. While we also believe that for the first time in the history of Akan constituency, we are going to come out victorious. And we are going to begin the restructuring, the reformulation, the reconstruction of the KJB or Akan constituency. Number one, we are determined to ensure that the message of MPP's manifesto will be carried out to the grounds. We all know that Akan constituency is a cocoa growing area. Therefore, the innovative policies of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will be communicated to the farmers on the ground. And we are convinced without doubt that our farmers here will come out and vote and give the president 4 more in order for him to do more. We are also convinced without doubt that with my personal track record, in 2000 when I came out as an independent member of parliament of the Akan constituency, and the vision that we have already translated to the people of Akan constituency, they will translate that by voting for me to become the member of parliament of Akan constituency.
So that's it for the Akan constituency. Well, the NDC candidate, Engineer Yao Gomado, says Ghanaians must stop calling Rashid Bawa a heavyweight in Ghana's politics, still in the Akan constituency.
That description is not true. It's not a political heavyweight. Yes, It was just in the kingdom of the blind. He thought he was the only one-eyed person. But today, he has come to meet somebody with 2 eyes. So he's not a political heavyweight. That name to me must be put aside because I'm going to face him squarely.
I wish all victory for you and the NDC.
Of course, you can see what happened yesterday when he brought his people, 40 people, and to compare to those that we had today.
This man, having become an MP, he was able to bring doctors to come and perform surgeries on people. Some went to Nkwanta, and then they are bills, they are TNT. He footed it. He also drilled boreholes. Those boreholes that are not working, he went and helped the community to repair it. So I think these are the things that, he graded some of our feeder roads, even to the point that even this road, it was your engineer Gomado who wanted to grade this road. But the DC came and stopped him because of politics. Yeah, these are the things. Because he had made the people, he had created the awareness that he is coming to do it. But because of political shenanigans, they came in because they are in government to stop him. So the people know that it is Engineer Gomado who is doing it. But because of politics, you came to stop him. So we are going to punish you for that. And we are going to vote for Gomado and Mahama.
In less than 60 days, we get to know what is happening with that one. But let me take you to the Electoral Commission's headquarters. Kweku Asante is standing by for us. He's joining me by Zoom. Hello, Kweku.
Hello, Gifty.
Kweku, let's start with how many parties have filed their nominations so far today?
Well, so far today, 3 political parties, the United Progressive Party, their chairman, Mr. Kenneth Nana Kwame Asamoah, filed the nomination on behalf of their presidential candidate, Mr. Odike. Also, the People's Action Party, the PAP, led by their flag bearer, Mr. Kwesi Busumoro, also filed today. And then finally, United Front Party have also filed, led by their flag bearer, Nana Ejini Mboatin. So, Gifty, so far today, 3 political parties have filed. We are expecting some more.
So since today is the last day, you've indicated already that we're expecting more political parties. Have there been any indication about the people who are coming? Do we know if there are more of independent candidates coming? I mean, a lot of the parties you've mentioned are parties we haven't heard from in a while.
Yeah, so far, the Electoral Commissioner and her deputies have all risen. We are expecting that they will come back to the conference room after 2 p.m., where we are expecting that at least the People's National Convention will file. Also, LPG has not filed. These are some notable names that have not filed so far, but we are not aware which other political parties are coming in. Even these ones are not ones that we can confirm absolutely that they are coming in the next hour or so. But the Electoral Commission says they'll be back to this conference room at 2, and they're expecting that more political parties and or other independent candidates will come in and file their candidature.
Like the Kofi Gans and co, we're hoping to hear from people like that as well. But then before you go, Kweku, today is the last day. Are we expecting anything more from the Electoral Commission? Did they mention or hint of perhaps addressing the nation after this process is done? Is there anything like that in the works?
Yes, certainly we expect that the Electoral Commissioner will address the nation after all political parties have filed. As of now, 15 political parties in total have filed, including the ruling New Patriotic Party and the Opposition National Democratic Congress, the 2 biggest political parties in Ghana. Those 2 have filed, plus 13 others have also filed. So we're expecting that after 5 p.m., when nominations officially close, the Electoral Commission will brief Ghanaians in terms of the official numbers. And also, Gifty, before you go, 2 teams were set up by the Electoral Commission to vet the forms that came in from the political parties and independent candidates. We're expecting that the Electoral Commission will let us in on some of these forms, whether they have some challenges and whether they ask these political parties and independent candidates to come back and correct them or not. All these details, we do not have them yet, but we're expecting that the Electoral Commission will give us all those details after 5 p.m. when nominations will officially close.
Kweku, thank you so much. Kweku Asante there, he's at the Electoral Commission headquarters, bringing us up to speed on what's happening. Like he indicated, I mean, so far 15 political parties have filed their nominations. I mean, would you believe that we have more than 15 political parties in Ghana? We haven't heard about most of them in a while, by the way. But what we do know is that the two biggest parties, the NPP and the NDC, have both filed. We're waiting to find out, apart from Joy, which other independent candidate, for example, will come on board. We'll be here to bring you more. Let me take you quickly through the names of those who have filed to contest as flag bearers and independent presidential candidates. We'll start with Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He started first. He's the NPP's candidate. John Dramani Mahama, the NDC's flag bearer, also who has been president before. Christian Kwame Andrews Sofo Trabosum has also filed his flag bearer for the Ghana Union Movement, GUM. And their slogan is EJMI. We have Bridget Jobenuku of the PPP. She has also filed her nomination. Ekiadonko of the Ghana Freedom Party. She has also filed. Nana Kuredwajma Rawlins. She's flag bearer of the NDP. She's filed. Hassan Ayariga, flag bearer for All People's Congress, the APC. He's also filed. The CPP's Ivor Kwabena Greenstreet has also filed his nomination. Henry Latte, flag bearer of Great Consolidated Popular Party, GCPP, who took over from his father, by the way, has also filed his nomination. And then when it comes to the independent candidates, we have Alfred Kwame Walker, who is an independent candidate. He is being, his running mate, by the way, is Joy, who has, over the years, has been the flag bearer for that independent slot, if I should put it that way. Let's look at Kofi Kranting. Kofi Kranting is also an independent candidate. He's also put in his nomination. And Marek Kofi Gan, well, I just mentioned him. I didn't know he had already done that. He has also filed his nomination. Let's talk about the battleground now. The NPP's Dr. Kwesi Rashidi Tuafo will on December 7 be seeking to recapture the Jumako Enyan Esiam seat. The party has failed to win that seat since 2008. He's arguing that the NDC MP Dr. Kasiel Atuforsen has failed to ensure development in the area. Dr. Forsen, however, disagrees, insisting he will be retained.
That in-house bureaucracy, that in-house problem that we have, that has caused us our seats, it seems to have been patched, it seems to have been solved. We can only lose the seat when we are fighting. This we can assure you that there's nothing like that.
Dr. Rashidi Tuafo, a man in his early 30s, is confident he's the appointed man to unseat Dr. Atuforsen, incumbent MP for the Jumako Enyan Esiam constituency and former Deputy Finance Minister.
I have asked this question wherever I go. I cannot talk about 2008 to 2012 to 2016. I can say from 2016 to 2020, these 4 years. Put this question to him. What has he done directly in the constituency? But I can put an authority that everything he's done is ordinary.
But are these mere words or they are words backed by deeds on the ground?
Let no one brag to you. Let no one create impression outside the constituency that is heavily contested. I do not see that. And I can assure you, by the end of December 7th, 2020, Atuforsen and the NDC will hold the Jumako Enyan Esiam. It is certainly the case.
Here comes Dr. Atuforsen. Kasiel Atuforsen says, in terms of weight, Dr. Rashidi Tuafo, his contender, is the lightest of all the persons from the NPP that have contested him in that constituency.
Among the candidates that have contested in the last 3 elections, I've more or less contested 3 people. Yes, one died, so about 4 people that have come out to contest me. But among all of them, he is the lightest of all the weight I've contested him. The lightest of all the weight. And you'll see his smoothness level pretty soon. The bragging must stop.
The stage is now set and the battleground is almost heating up for these two gentlemen in the constituency each is claiming superiority. In 1992, Joseph Kwekwenos from the NDC held the seat but was beaten in 1996 by the late Isaac Edumaze of the NPP. Isaac Edumaze held the seat firmly until 2008 when the incumbent MP, Kasiel Atuforsen, took over and has held the seat till date. He now knocks the doors of the constituency to be let in again for the 4th time. Will the doors be closed to him, or would they let him in?
In terms of performance, nobody in this constituency will tell you that Honorable Atufosson hasn't performed. It's quite unfortunate that during every 4 years, elections are to be held. Other than that, many of those here would have told you that Honorable Atufosson should go unopposed. Because one, until Honorable Atufosson took over, there was no single community in the district with a tarred road. I don't mean trunk road in the district. I mean city, town roads. We can talk of Ejimako, the town roads in Boom area is tarred, but Honorable Atufosson. That of Densa is tarred. That of Isiam is tarred. Some part of Abasa is tarred. Completely, every part of the Sianse, all the major communities in this district have been tarred by Honorable Atufosson.
NDC's communications officer for the constituency, Gelhard, just returned from a keep fit exercise he organized as part of the campaign to get KCL Atufosson a 4th term in Ghana's parliament. On the streets of Ejumako, I also meet the constituency youth organizer for the MPP, Loveland's Kwenchi Ajiman.
I tell you, it has never happened in the history of our politicking that a candidate who is not a member of parliament, but he's been able to make massive inroads into the lives of the people. I am sure that when he came to town, you would have seen some taxis branded. He has his photos on them. He's a young man, some 32 years. But before he wants to assume to that seat of an MP, over 80 cars, work and pay. He has given over 700,000 as soft loans to our women. The records are there. You can take from Abasa, go to Ahao, go to Inesu, go to Esikado. It is evident. And I challenge anybody. I challenge the NDC. I challenge even the Honorable MP that in 2007, when he was endorsed as a parliamentary candidate, these things that my parliamentary candidate has done, it never happened.
But Gelhard is confident Dr. Rashidi Twelve would be beaten to Paul.
It is very difficult to beat Honorable Atufosson on a one-on-one election because the guy cares. The people love him. And that they have brought about 3 candidates, all beaten. The first candidate who was beaten by Honorable Atufosson was Atabedi. He came 2008, he's gone. That will bring disunity in your camp. We don't care. Another person came, Atufosson beat him. Another person also came. In fact, the current DC came and he was beaten. Not because Honorable Atufosson is handsome or anything, but the guy cares. He's humble. He's so hardworking to the extent that if you are to interview anybody in this constituency who is a neutral personality and does not belong to any political party in the district, the person will tell you that for Atufosson, no way.
Kwenchi Ajiman has said everything has been put in place to end the winning streak of the incumbent, KCL Atufosson.
What the NDC have thrived on, or what they have profited over the period, has been our disunity. It's for a fact that from 2008 to 2012 and 2016, the MPP went into elections divided, front divided. Parliamentary candidates who lost during the primaries failed to come. You had most of them preaching skirt and blouse. I can tell you on authority that our front is united. The juxtaposing same with 2012, 2016, and 2008.
So it's a sunny Monday afternoon, and this is the Ejumako market. And Ejumako happens to be the capital of the Ejumako Enyan Esiam constituency. Today on Battleground, we find ourselves in the market. We've heard from the 2 candidates who are vying for the honors, who are on the battleground, as we say. This seat is not a safe zone for any of the political parties. We are here in the market to interact with market men and some traders of their perspective, how they see the elections that would come off on the December 7th.
In 2009, basically in the
From 2009 up to date, a lot has been done by our MP, KCL Atufosson. When he came in 2009, the district was underdeveloped, but now we are better off. Atufosin would win massively. We are hoping he would take the seat again. All the youth are supporting him.
Winning massively today. Ransford Rashid Nampo Minjenzi do Basana Baby.
7 December, but I got Dr. Rashid.
I want us to vote for Dr. Rashid. This is because even now that he is not in power, he is doing a lot for us, providing employment for the teeny youth who were a burden on their parents.
One cast, one by them go, one man for 50. What can pay car?
He's even bought cars for the youth on work and pay basis and not giving them any pressure. If such a person is voted for, he will help move the constituency forward. Atufosin, our MP, has not done really much for us since 2016.
Oh, honorable, they say I'm
if Atufosin does not voluntarily resign, I doubt anybody could unseat him. He's done a lot and he's still doing a lot for the district. Such a person ought not to be pushed out. There is no need to change him. Dr. Rashid is someone who feels for the ordinary people. We have not seen his kind before in this district. I have 3 of my children that have been put into various apprenticeships by Dr. Rashid. He's paid for their apprenticeship fees. We need him to win to continue the good works. Already, the two parties are measuring their strength by the crowd they poll during their Keep Fit campaigns they organize periodically. All eyes would be on this constituency as the battleground inches towards readiness. Richard Kwejenya Akon, Ejumako Enyan constituency for JoyNews.
All right, so that's a report beautifully put together by my colleague Richard Kojonyako. It is time now for your comment on some of the this week's political issues. We begin with chiefs in politics. Now, here are some of the comments that we've received. This one says, it's from Nanakwesi Anapansu. Says, as long as it doesn't cost them their stools/skins, they'll trade their respect or whatever there is for monetary and other partisan benefit. Most of them were active NDC NPP members/sympathizers before ascending the throne. Edu Amwating Setre writes, the participation of chiefs, and he puts the participation in quote, of chiefs in politics is a worrisome situation. But sir, does the participation mean openly declaring support for a party or contesting for a position on a political party's ticket? The Article 270, Clause 1 of the Constitution is clear on a chief that seeks to contest an election but qualifies their participation with active party politics. I think that ambiguity has emboldened some chiefs to make reckless comments we hear nowadays. John Hobson writes, we should just allow them, nothing criminal about it, even without being open about it. We know their preferences. Well, let's now see what you have been saying on the filing of nominations, which ends today. So I start with Joe Tifudzo, right? Okay, I hope I got your name right. He writes, great leader, good luck and all the best, Your Excellency, Mr. President, Dr. John Dramani Mahama. May the angels of God mount up your road to victory, more grace, jobs and prosperity. Much love, honorable. God bless our homeland, Ghana. That's Joe, seems to be endorsing the NDC flag bearer. Dramani Isifu right. President Akufo-Addo will win this election without a doubt. He has transformed Ghana. He deserves 4 more to do more for Ghanaians. We will reject Mahama. Well, this is where I take leave of you, but remember, I am back at 3 p.m. with the pulse, and we'll be in the various regions from our correspondents, talking to them, especially about the security situation. And as you heard the members of parliament say, it is a growing sense of insecurity. Is that what it is for you? Let's talk at 3 p.m. on the Pulse. My name is Gifty Ando Apia. There is more news at myjoyonline.com. Many thanks for your time.